Hey, so I wanted to make a video about the take apart problem page on your packet, boys and girls. So I want us to take a look at number one right here on page 21 and number three. But before we get started, I wanted to review with you and to show your parents the steps that we use to solve all story problems, no matter what. So, first, it says we want to read the story the whole way through. Make sure you take out the numbers. So, instead of saying the number when you're reading, just say some instead. So, like if Mr. Andrews walked 12 miles around the track, instead you would say Mr. Andrews walked some miles around the track. When kids see the numbers, they usually think about, oh, I just put them together instead of trying to read to understand because we don't always add in story problems. So next, you go back and reread the story without the numbers, but you're going to underline that question when you get to it, and you want to reread that question so that way you know what you're trying to figure out. What does it want you to know or figure out? Go back and reread the story one sentence at a time and visualize. Make that movie in your head. Focus on those details in the story. So, like if it said Mr. Andrews walked some miles around the track, you would close your eyes and you would think of me. You know what I look like. So you would see me in your mind, and I'm not doing cartwheels. I'm not eating donuts. I'm walking around the track. So you would picture me walking, and it can be the track at school or wherever. All right. And you do that in every sentence. Then you go back and reread it one more time now that you have that movie, and then you make a plan, solve, and don't forget to label your answer. So I'm not going to go through that with you in these problems because I want to keep the video short, but I want you to do that when you're solving these problems and every other problem that you do. Okay. So looking at number one, it says Haley buys 9 potatoes. 4 potatoes are white, the rest are red. How many red potatoes are there? So when you're talking about take apart problems, you're thinking about part whole. In this problem, it sounds like we have a whole and we know a part, but we don't know what the other part is. So what we can do is we can take the whole apart to figure out what parts make it. So just using what I know and what I think makes sense, it says Haley buys 9 potatoes. Okay, she's got 9 potatoes. 4 potatoes are white. So of those 9 potatoes, 4 of them are white. Then it says the rest are red. How many red potatoes are there? So it sounds like to me that we have some red potatoes, some white potatoes, and they come together to make potatoes. So my whole sounds like it should be 9 because that's how many potatoes it sounds like she has altogether. 4 of those potatoes are white. I got to figure out how many are red. So there's many ways you can do this. I can subtract. It sounds like I should have 9, take 4 out, and whatever's left should be how many red potatoes I have. This is the taking apart part of the problem. So if I know my facts really well inside of 10, then most kids are going to just know immediately. But there are different strategies that you can use to solve this. So, like addition, you can use addition to help you with subtraction. You can look at this part right here. It's like, I know my doubles facts. I know that 4 plus 4 is 8, but she doesn't have 8 potatoes. She has 9 potatoes. So I need one more. Ah, this is a doubles plus 1 problem. So one of these 4s would need to be a 5 to make that 8 and 9. So it would have to be 4 plus 5 equals 9, which means that if I have 9 and I take 4 out, 5 has to be left because 5 plus 4 equals 9. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's try this one. It says Ada wants to read 12 books over the summer. 5 books are stories about cats. The rest are stories about horses. How many books are stories about horses? Okay, so just thinking about part whole, it sounds to me like Ada wants to read some books. How many? 12. And it looks like 5 of those 12 books are about cats. And then the rest of the books are about horses. So just thinking about it, it sounds like the 12 she wants to read, that would be our whole. And the 5 of those 12, so part of those 12 books, are going to be about cats. We got to figure out how many are about horses. Well, I could use addition or I could use subtraction. I'm going to use that make 10 to the subtract strategy. Sorry. Yes, make 10 to subtract strategy that I made a video about a few minutes ago. So I know that if I can make this 12 into a 10, this will be a lot easier. So instead of taking all 5 away, I'm just going to take 2 away to make 12 minus 2, and that'll get me to 10. But if I stop there, then I'm going to get the wrong answer because I didn't take away 5, I only took away 2. Well, 2 plus what would be 5? 3. So I have to take that 3 away too, so that way I'm taking away all 5. Well, since it's a 10 partner problem, this is a lot easier. 7. 7 books about horses. So hopefully that made sense. If you have any questions at all about that, let me know and I'll try to help you as soon as I can.